Hey guys, in today's video I'll be talking about an important topic that affects millions of people living in the UK. I mean, this affects us all, okay? There's good news. This video, you would need to watch it till the end, especially if you're living in the UK or you're planning on coming to the UK. This is a recent change that the UK government introduced, and it was published on the 17th of May 2023. So this is beneficial to everyone living in the UK. So sit tight and let's get straight into it. Hey guys, welcome and welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new to the channel, my name is Faith or Johnny, and on this channel I talk about ways you can travel abroad and settle abroad. I share resources with you on how you can get started, and I share latest updates concerning the UK, what's happening in the UK, how you can move and settle in the UK, and I share latest updates as well. Once in a while I share story time, so if these are the kind of content you like, hit the subscribe button down below, turn on your notification bell so you'll be notified whenever I share content like this. Without saying so much, let's get started. If you've been living in the UK of recent times, you would notice the hike in housing, especially if you're renting. Between 2022/2023, the rents in the UK went up. I mean, doubled. It's so bad. It's difficult for people to rent an accommodation in the UK. The government decided to introduce what they call the Rental Reform Bill. It is a new law that is aimed to make things better for people who rent homes from private landlords and people who own and rent out properties in England. That you have to be in England for this to be applicable. So the change proposed in this bill have been developed by talking to both landlord and tenant for the past 5 years. So one important change that the rental reform bill will bring is the elimination of a type of eviction called this section 21 no fault eviction. This means that landlord will no longer be able to evict tenants without a specific reason. When the house rent sort of increase, a lot of landlords sort of issue the section 21 to a lot of tenants so that they can increase the rent. Normally, if you are living in a house in the UK, your landlord cannot increase your rent above a certain percentage. So that means if your rent was £1,300 previously, if your landlord wants to increase, they cannot increase more than a certain percent. So what some landlords do is they evict the tenant out of the house so that they can get new people to pay a higher rent. Now there's a new law. It's already in law, like this is official. You cannot do that as a landlord anymore. A simpler system will be introduced where all rental agreements will continue on a month-to-month basis. This will provide more security for tenants and they won't have to worry about being evicted for no reason. It will also give them the confidence to challenge any unfair practice or rent increase without the fear of losing their homes, which is good. So your landlord cannot just increase your rent and you will not have any say. So now they are creating like a portal where you can report your landlord and someone will settle the case. The second one is that the rental reform bill will introduce a clearer reason for landlords to take back their property. So in as much as the government removed section 21 no fault eviction, they also provided another one which a landlord can still ask you to leave their property in case of they want to sell it off, or I don't know, they want to live in it. In this situation where the landlord wants to sell the property or have close family member moving, this will also make it easier for landlords to regain possession of their property in case where the tenants are at fault, such as when they engage in antisocial behavior or repeatedly fail to pay rent. So landlord can ask you to leave. They took out this section 21 no eviction fault and break this one in. So this one, for a landlord to ask you to leave, they have to have like a genuine reason why they're asking you to leave. It's either you've refused to pay your rent, or you're not taking care of the house, or your neighbors are complaining about your noise, or they want to sell the property so they have the right to get their house back. So to protect tenants from unfair practices, the bill will offer stronger safeguard against backdoor eviction. This means that if landlord tries to force tenants out by charging excessively high rents, tenants will have the right to appeal. Okay, landlord will still be able to increase rents to match the market rate, and an independent tribunal will make a decision if this is necessary necessary. It is important to note that the tribunal will have authority to determine the actual market rent of a property if it doesn't restrict the judgment of the court in any way. Even when landlords want to increase the rent, they have like a special body that would determine if the amount that the landlord is increasing it to is the right rent. I mean, they will have an independent body now that would sort of control how landlords can increase rent in the UK, which is amazing. The third one is that the rental reform bill will bring some important changes to the rental sector in order to make things easier and fairer for both landlords and tenants. A new organization called the Private Rental Sector will be established. They call them the Ombudsman, which will be responsible for resolving issues that arises between landlords and tenants, and it will provide a fairer and impartial decision that both parties must follow. The system will be faster, cheaper, and less confrontational than going to court. You all know that if you have issue with your landlord, the next thing is to take them to court. So now they're trying to create like a body where you can go to instead of going to court. And private landlord property portal will be created to assist in landlord understanding their legal responsibility and ensuring compliance. This portal will also provide tenants with better information to help them make informed choices when entering into a rental agreement. So there's going to be like a general portal for you as a tenant to know the rules around renting a house, and the landlords to also know their responsibility, you know, having tenants in your house. A lot of landlords these days, they don't even care. They just rent house property to you, and some of the houses have mold in it, and mold is very dangerous to your health. They don't even care, or if they have repairs, they don't even care to repair the house because they feel like, and if you leave, someone else will come in. It will also support local council in targeting their efforts to enforce regulations where it is most necessary. So tenants will also have the right to request permission to keep a pet in the rental property. Landlord will have to consider these requests and cannot unreasonably refuse them. To protect landlord interests, they will be able to require tenants to have pet insurance to cover any damages caused by pets in the property. You all know that most houses in the UK do not allow pets. So if you're renting a house, they'll tell you no cat or no dog. So now they're trying to sort of give tenants more power to be able to request to have a pet in their house. This bill, they're also working with the Ministry of Justice and HM Court and Tribunal Service to make sure that tenants and landlord can use modern digital. They're trying to make it a lot simpler so that you don't need to go to court, physical court. So there's like a digital service. So the government sees this as a new goal as suggested by the leveling of housing selected by committees. So they will also coordinate the removal of Section 21 law that allows landlords to evict tenants without a reason, and introduce a new reason for eviction with improvements in the court system. This includes making the entire process digital and collaborating with courts to give priority to certain cases such as those involving in antisocial behavior. Private rental sector also promised more change to help both landlords and tenants. So they are fully committed to making these changes happen and introduce a new law as soon as possible. They're making sure that people who rent homes in private sector have a safer and better quality place to live. If you're staying in any house and you feel like your living condition is not great, honestly, you can report your landlord. No one should be paying so much money and living in a terrible living condition, and maybe some of the things in properties are damaged and your landlords are not fixing it. They also want to get rid of bad quality homes in local communities. By doing this, they can support the government's goal of improving living condition for everyone, which is amazing. They started asking people for opinions, I mean, since last year September, on how to make sure that rental home meets a certain standard, are regulated fairly. They will review the response and share the next steps. So I think 2022 they did like a survey asking people for their opinion. If you watch the news, you see how people are living in some homes, you will be amazed. You'll be like, this happens in the UK. I mean, a lot of people are living in a terrible housing condition and they still pay money. Like, it's crazy. They also want to make it against the law for landlord and agents to refuse rent tenants who receive benefits or have children. I remember when we moved moved to the UK, we saw a lot of houses that we like, but the landlord keeps saying they don't want kids. So most of the houses, we could not rent them because we have a daughter. So now it's going to be illegal for a landlord to say they are not renting their house to you because you have children. This way, no families will be unfairly treated when they are looking for a home. Additionally, they want to give local council more power to enforce the rules and make it mandatory for them to report on their action against landlords who break the law. This will help them to focus on landlords who engage in illegal activities. I heard also in the news that they also want to like create a site where you can know more about your landlord. You know, sometimes we rent a place, you don't even know anything about your landlord, so people can now like rate their landlord if they are good or bad. I don't know, they're just trying to make things, I mean, transparent and a lot helpful. This is amazing law, so this is beneficial to everyone. So for those international students that come to the UK and then they are not renting a house to you because you need guarantor, you do this, you're not earning this amount, that is now in the bin. What are your thoughts? Do you think this is going to work? Do you think this the landlords are going to obey this law? Do you think this is amazing? Are you happy about it? Because I am, and I would like to know your thoughts in the comments. So do give this video a thumbs up, share with your friends and family, those who are not yet aware of the new rental reform bill, and I'll leave the link to the official information in the description box below, just in case you want to go read it for yourself, or you can check gov.uk. The information is there for you. And guys, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.